In this video, you'll learn how to rotate patterns as layers. Let's open the wood sample JPEG and select all, and then define this as a new pattern. Choose Edit Define Pattern and call this wood sample. Then close the file without saving. Open Kitchen 7. Target the pattern layer, create a new layer above it, and use the Paint Bucket tool to fill in the kitchen island. Rename this layer Island. Then use the Layer Effect menu to select Pattern Overlay. Open the pattern picker and select the wood sample pattern that you just defined. It looks good at this scale. Perhaps it's a bit dark. We can tone that down by changing the blend mode to luminosity so that we pick up only the grayscale portion of this pattern. Then we can use color overlay in overlay mode, and then click the color swatch and select a brown color that's brighter, however you like, to create this wooden countertop. Click OK. And now let's apply this same pattern over here on the shelves. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. And let's say in this situation that we're going to have two pieces of wood, and we want the grain to run vertically on this piece, and we want the grain to run horizontally on this piece. Let's create a seam first between the two pieces with the Line tool. Select Shape Mode, Fill Black, 1 pixel weight, and draw a line from the corner here over to the other end. This is going to create a barrier between these two pieces of wood. Let's make a new layer and call it Shelf 1. Use the Paint Bucket tool and fill in pixels in this shelf. To save time, we can simply copy the effects that we've established already on the island layer. Hold down the Option key on the Mac or the Alt key on the PC and drag the word effects from the island layer to the Shelf 1 layer and drop. It's very easy once you have these styles set up. Let's create a new layer and call it Shelf 2. Use the Paint Bucket tool over here to fill in pixels, and again, hold down the Option or Alt key, drag the effects onto Shelf 2. Now in this case, I want the grain to run horizontally. However, I cannot do that with the pattern overlay effect. There's no provision for rotation here. So the solution here is to actually right-click on the word effects and choose Create Layers. This is going to transform this from a layer with layer style effects to a clipping group. Now we can target the pattern itself and transform it. I'm going to double-click on the Hand tool to zoom out, and then use Edit, Free Transform. Position the cursor out here and rotate. Hold down the Shift key, and you'll rotate it in increments. Click Commit, and zoom back in to see what you've accomplished. You've rotated the grain horizontally, because this is possible when the situation is such that you have a clipping group. It's not possible when you have a pattern overlay layer effect. However, you lose the editability that you enjoyed when this was a pattern overlay effect. So I recommend only rotating patterns after you've settled on your final pattern and the color overlay and any other layer style effects that you want to apply. You can also turn off this Shape 1 layer, and it reveals this seam now in white. I'll target the Shelf 2 layer, use the Paint Bucket tool, and try to very carefully click in the seam to fill in those pixels, and that eliminates that white line. I can then throw Shape 1 in the trash. So in this video, you learned how to define a pattern and rotate it using the clipping group functionality.